everyone, this is DimensionSlip presenting to you AC Radio at www.abyssalchronicles.com where Tales is our life. This episode is for August 2019 and today I'm joined here by AC owner Abby and we'll be talking about our impressions of Tales of Arise and Tales of Crestoria based on what has been announced thus far. Okay. Woo. So this year's been pretty lit in terms of new game announcements, to say the least of it.
Finally, after such a long time of silence.
Yes, we have a mothership title coming next year.
Woo!
Whew. It looks beautiful. But anyway, more on that later.
We'll get there.
So, okay. So when Arise was first announced like a few months ago.
Announced. Announced.
Yeah, announced. How did you feel about the initial announcement, Abby?
Announcement, quote unquote. Actually,
Yeah, quote unquote.
It was actually a stroke of luck because I was at work at that time when the thing was leaked. So for those who don't know, prior to the actual announcement, so the game was officially announced during the Microsoft E3 2019 conference. But like 2 days prior to that, for some reason, everything about the game, like from the game description, screenshots, well, almost everything was leaked online. So I was at work at that time. I just woke up from a hospital duty and just like, I think it was only 10 or 20 minutes after the leak, I checked online like, whoa, what is this? So I was actually really, really excited because I wasn't expecting, I was expecting something at E3 from, I don't know, people were hinting, I'm not sure where the hints came from, but people were hinting about something on E3 for Tales, but I wasn't expecting it to be leaked like 2 days prior to E3 starting. So I was really, really excited. Number one, because the characters looked cool. Well, at that time, the main character looked cool, the hero. And the graphics were actually looked really, really good.
Yeah, the graphics were really gorgeous and I have no words. It's really pretty, to say the least of it.
And that was from just a screenshot because what was leaked were just screenshots and game info. How about you?
On my end, my story is a little different because I just woke up and everyone was talking about it and freaking out, like they don't know what to make of it. And at that time, like the screenshots were kind of small, so it was it was hard to tell, like how some of the characters looked. Like people were saying that, hey, Shione looks like Lila. And Shione, what the heck? Anyway, Shion looked a lot like Lila then, and people were like worried, oh my god, this is gonna be another Berseria Zestiria sequel, and and of course there's a lot of mixed feelings about that, but I won't get into it. Like personally, I had mixed feelings about that too, but I'm glad that once everything came out and there were more like words from the producer, he clarified that this is a totally new title with no connections to the previous games. So I think it's a good move on their part.
Speaking of the producer, they're very open with the game development. I think we'll get more to that later.
Yeah. Regarding the leak, like I think there were also like mixed feelings about the fact that it was leaked because normally like there's a lot of money spent on like, you know, PR stuff and whatnot. So it's like as a dev too, like if my game got leaked like that, I would probably feel a little bad, like because I know some people felt a little slighted by the leak, and I understand that feeling because it's like you wanna like present the game in your own terms, but if there's a leak, it's like yeah, suddenly like things are taken out of your hands and you gotta make do with, you know, stuff from that point forward, and basically like anything you planned is, well, not exactly ruined, but you gotta accommodate that. And to that end, like I kind of like salute the Bamco team, or at least one of the producers, like how he handled that. Like, I don't know if you remember
Harada.
Harada. Yeah, yeah, the way he was just like there was no leak.
There was no
That
leak.
sort of, yeah. It was kind of amusing, like how that also that kind of circulated too. So like, it's nice that at least he was a good sport about the leaks. So
He was a really good sport, but I'm pretty sure he was like miffed about it, even
yeah.
by a little bit.
Okay, so moving on from that, they revealed the plot too, like when they announced the game and stuff. So, what do you think about what we know thus far? I mean, what are your impressions on it?
Let's see. The whole two planets thing. Like Tails is really into that. Like maybe around 50-60% of the games in Tales really love the whole there are two planets things, there are two races things. And I'm okay with that as long as they can show it in a slightly different note than usual. Although from what we've seen so far, it feels like it's gonna be pretty similar to the old games. Like there's gonna be discrimination, there's gonna be a fight. Two people from that world and this world are gonna join forces. They're probably gonna unite the two worlds somehow. They're gonna make peace.
And
I want them to go into a different direction. Maybe kill off one other planet. I don't know.
that would be interesting to see if they do go that direction.
Yeah, but I doubt that.
Yeah, it's usually, oh, you gotta do peaceful coexistence, or everything becomes one, like what you said earlier. So, but yeah, on my end, it's like, yeah, it seems interesting, at least. Like, it's a little different from like what we've had, and I mean, for the recent games, like not. I mean, I know it's similar to like the older games, but at least for the recent games, it's kind of a different angle in a sense, and I really like how basically Shion's voice actor really establishes like Shion's superiority and those very few lines she spoke in the PV. Shion? Yeah, like it's like, yes, I am your master, or I am greater than you. Um yes, that sort of deal. So
One thing I like about that though, the story. I think they announced, or though this was later from the announcement, like so Shion is cursed with the what's the curse called?
I think it was something like thorns, or
Yeah, something like that. Thorns. A curse of thorns wherein anyone she touches against her will gets hurt. And then we have Alpin who is for some reason, number one with amnesia. Oh no. And number two, he can't feel anything for some reason. So I like the idea that these two opposite characters sort of complete each other in a sense. Like they can work together because um, the curse works with this person. I get it. I
yeah,
seriously hope. I
yes.
seriously hope it'll establish some sort of romance.
Yeah. Do you hope that they would end up together, or no?
Namco, I'm begging you practically. It has been so long since we had a proper romance in any Tales game that ended in a happy ending. So long.
Happy ending. I wonder.
I want it blatant. I don't want it like, they're always together. They're gonna be the couple, but it never really happened. So you just have the fandom, speculating or being fangirls about it. Like, I want it legit. Like, I want a kid legit.
I see. But it's been forever since we actually had
I know.
a kid. Unless we count, okay, Xillia spoilers. Xillia 2 spoilers. Luger and L, although their case is kind of complicated. Yeah. It's not even them getting married, because it's more like, L being Luger's kid. But yeah. Anyway.
But I want a happy ending. That
and
is not a happy
spoilers.
ending. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Spoilers.
Yeah. Okay, and spoilers. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, happy endings would be nice because let's see. Okay, how many how many games are we going to spoil? But
I'm
just to
so sorry.
but yeah, just like recently the yeah, I agree like the recent games haven't been very happy and like Zestiria and Berseria spoilers like the way our protags just sacrifice themselves and I guess we can count Xillia too there too in terms of their true ending. So it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
like it's been a while since we had a pro tag that lived. Although I guess arguably Saray kind of came back, but anyway. I'm also like excited to know who the other party members would be cuz like the what we know of Arise just really focused on like Alphen and Shion, so I don't know what kind of characters would, you know, go along well with their I don't know whatever mission they have because it's like are they gonna stick the usual tropes like there's a traitor character, there's a Shota or Lolly character, that sort of deal.
There's a voluptuous woman character. There's an old man.
Yeah. One thing I do hope that they do with the characters is they establish um they're like being part of the party. Like I have a reason to be here. I'm not here just because we wanted like six party members. I wish that's one thing I want to see in Arise because I don't know, the cast usually feels a lot more like holistic and well supported if their motivations for like sticking around with the hero or the heroine are clear. Like that's what one thing I liked about Berseria because all of them were like following Velvet for like a reason and I appreciated that a lot. So how about you? Is there something you'd like to see in the like potential party members or
I just want a really good mage.
like who or what makes a good mage
A
in your
male
opinion?
mage. I'm so sorry. Bring back
A
the male
male mage.
mages. I guess that's one of them.
Yeah, okay, that'd be that's very oddly specific.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, speaking of though, like the characters in terms of like art direction, I think it's kind of also like interesting and refreshing that they decided to stick to one main artist this time around.
Oh yeah.
It's like I'm hoping that it ends up like unifying the identity of the game. So I mean, like everyone looks like they're part of the same game instead of looking like I don't know. There's some part of a big crossover like because Xillia had like two main designers. They had Fujishima and Inomata do the main characters, and then Zestiria had like three or four.
Yeah.
I can't. And then I think it was kind of similar for Berseria too. So one thing that I kind of found lacking in terms of design was um yeah, there seemed to be like a lack of unity in the designs, and that's because I think of all the different artists that had a hand in like the main characters. But I don't know, maybe some people like that, but on my end it was kind of weird.
For me, I don't really have an eye for this, but most of the time, I mean, if you play the game, you're really faced more with the designs from, or well, the rendition from whoever was making the character art or the animation. So in these cases, for the latter parts, it would be UFO. How do you even say it? UFO table? UFO?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, UFO table.
UFO table.
Oh yeah. UFO table. And so most of the time you're really faced with that. So I don't really I don't mind much the differences in terms of the character designs because they still feel quote unquote the same to me because they were rendered in such a way. So I'm hoping this time with just one character designer who's also in charge of the game's art direction, they could get a more, I guess, a rather more solid feel.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that exactly. That's one thing I'm hoping from Arise. Like basically cohesion and like a sense of identity, that sort of deal.
Because like for example, if we're gonna throw in, we'll get to this later, but if we're gonna throw in Crestoria, um, the character designs really feel for me a bit all over the place.
Yeah, that's the thing because I think they had like also like 3 to 4 designers, something. So yeah. Speaking of direction though, so the producer for Arise is Yusuke Tomizawa, and he's been he started like a developer's blog about it recently, and it's a first in the series, I believe. Was it?
Oh, having the blog?
Yeah, the blog.
Not really. If I recall correctly, I can't remember which one. I think Innocence had this.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the first DS Innocence, not the Vita one. They had the developer blog things, although they weren't as in depth as this. Because what I liked about this one from Tomizawa is he's actually answering the questions from the fans, the questions you see around floating around Twitter. The developer blogs from before, they were more of like they were just like blog posts of what you already know, like blog posts of how the game system works, or blog posts of how this character fights.
Oh, I see. So, yeah, this one has a lot of more meat in it, and it like pays attention to like what the fans feel because there was like explaining why they went with Arise, even though there's like an A in the series already, that sort of thing. And I think they also addressed like the change, the artistic direction. Like this is the first. No, not the first. Sorry. Like it's been a while since they like left Inomata and Fujishima Sensei like off the like roster for main character designs, and I think this is Iwamoto Sensei's first
main character.
Yeah,
it is.
Time to like design the main characters and whatnot. So, and I think there was like one main comment when the trailer first dropped was like, it didn't feel like Tales. Like, I don't know if you heard that one.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that.
Like on my end, like personally, I think there was a good balance between like vanilla Tales and like a design that's kind of trying to move on with the times too. So I didn't really like have any bones to pick with that. Like I actually really liked it, to be honest.
I saw a lot of reaction videos on YouTube. A particular fan of one of them who were like literally yelling, "This is Tales! This is Tales!" Especially during the first part of the trailer. But as soon as I saw the characters, it really felt like Tales.
Yeah, same. Like the way they do the faces and the eyes is still very anime at the end of the day.
It's Tales. Like it doesn't even look anything different. Like that's not Star Ocean, but it's still Tales.
Yeah, same.
Though the graphics, like the first parts of the trailer that showcase just the scenery, they were very, very beautiful. And honestly, as compared to what we've seen before, it didn't feel like Tales in terms of the level of detail.
Yeah, it's really like Unreal at its finest, to be honest. Because
like cathedral thing. Was it a cathedral or something? The one that looks really colorful and like wow.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good step up to say the least of it. And I'm not sure like if what people's expectations are with the battle system because they never really delved into like what kind of system they'd have, but on my end, I do hope they would. I don't know with you, but I hope they would try open world systems again, like the one in Zestiria. Like I'm hoping they would try to expound on that because I don't know. It's like for me, open those kind of systems give a better sense of immersion, in my opinion, because it's like you're already on the field and you fight the monsters on the field instead of like being teleported to a different location and being like. But I know it's a staple of Tales, but it's like
I think in one blog post though, they already confirmed that it's not gonna be seamless.
oh, okay, I think I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think they like clarified na there will still be encounters, quote unquote. So yeah, that's what people are assuming with that sentence. Like, oops, you're gonna get teleported again.
Oh, I see. Okay, it'll be interesting to see how they do that then, because yeah, I was really hoping for a seamless system.
I was too.
Oh well, that's okay. Arise is still beautiful.
I just hope it doesn't disappoint in the long run. Remember how Zestiria was so hyped up?
Ah yeah,
Like, it's hype, and then suddenly everything went.
yeah, cause oh my god, I don't know if you saw it, but at the time there were a lot of 1-star reviews on
Yep, on
Amazon,
Japan.
Yeah,
That was horrible.
that was horrible. Yes, I didn't expect people would dogpile like that, but I guess that's how angry fans express their
Just for Alicia.
distaste. Yes, just for poor Alicia. But yeah, before we okay, so wrapping stuff up with Arise, do you have any final words to say about it in terms of your expectations, reactions, etc.?
I'm really hope. I think they're gonna go with this anyway, but I really like how Namco is so into the whole global thing now. Because if you read the blog post from Tomizawa, he's really stating that they're trying to cater to the Western audiences more. Like they're really trying to, well, show what they think the Western audience is like. And I really hope it works out for them. I mean, one thing I was really miffed about the announcement was they announced it during the Microsoft conference, which is, I mean, if you're gonna announce an RPG, I don't think the Microsoft conference is the best place to do it.
Is that so?
Maybe yeah, I mean, maybe for the PlayStation conference, it works best. But yeah, because no offense to Microsoft, but majority of the Microsoft games are like the shooters or the Western role-playing ones. Cyberpunk, for example.
On my I see. On my end, I didn't really think it was a bad move because, like, I mean, E3 is still a pretty big conference, so if they wanted to get exposure, that was a good way to get it. Although I do sympathize with some fans that kind of took an issue with it because it was so close to Tales Fest.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people were hoping that they would have announced it during Tales Fest instead of like E3, that sort of deal. I mean,
Yeah, but they were aiming for global, so
yes, I think that's one way to send a message, to say the least of it. Like they're really serious about going global with Tales.
I'm really hoping for like simultaneous release, like
Yes,
to the dot simultaneous.
yeah, that would be really awesome if they do that. And so far, like I think the fact that they announced it abroad first, I think
Yes.
there's a very good chance that it's simultaneous. I mean, that's what I hope.
I hope. I believe.
Yes. But yeah, I think we can all agree that everyone's looking forward to more news and announcements about Arise. So
The next event we're expecting is
Tokyo Game Show, I think.
Tokyo Game Show, yeah, in September.
Next month. Yeah. Or
Next month.
there's also Gamescom in somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure still on that one.
I see. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, so moving on from Arise, we have Crestoria, which
It's still not released.
is still not released and is missing a release date, but has a lot of hype surrounding it, especially thanks to their Anime Expo promotion. So, to those who don't know, last July there was some heavy Crestoria promotion done during Anime Expo 2019, and which is one of the biggest anime events in the United States. And
Yeah.
in that event, they released some visuals for the very first time, like the skit faces and whatnot. And then they also created like a special skit specifically for the event with English subs and everything. So that was pretty neat. So and from what I heard from a friend, their booth was really big. Like
Huge.
it wasn't just like a random thing in the corner. It was almost like a centerpiece. That's what I kind of sort of heard. So it's like, yeah, they're really taking the global thing really seriously.
I mean, I just hope it kicks off well. Like, uh, I'm not really sure about the other games. Like, there are really popular games in the West. Like, what's the Fate game?
FGO, Fate
Yeah,
Grand
there we go.
Order. Yeah.
Yeah, the Fate Grand Order. Like, they're really popular in the West. So I'm just hoping Tales will hold up to it. I mean, I love the booth. I've seen pictures and reports on. Actually, we have one on the site. Reports on the booth. I'm just hoping it'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah. I really pray that Crestoria takes off, like I mean, abroad and here also in Japan. I think Japan is pretty much a given, but yeah, I hope it takes off abroad too. Like, FGO does well because it has the Fate fan base is really big, like
Yeah.
abroad, so that's why it's survived basically. But Tales is kind of niche, so. But I'm hoping the fact that Crestoria is like, has a new cast of characters, that would be like enough to, draw in like people, new people to the series. So it's like, cause what do you call this? Yeah, it's not like you need to know anything about like previous Tales games just to enjoy the game, that sort of deal. So, so yeah, I think it's really exciting though that um they're really taking west um the global audience a lot more seriously, because the thing that happened with Race was really bad. Like, I'm not
Uh,
sure, because it seems to be like the fate of more niche franchises. Like,
Star
I'm
Ocean.
not sure if you heard about the Star Ocean global game had to shut down. Had to announce the shutdown recently. So yeah, that was kind of heartening for a lot of fans, and I heard a lot of people like comparing it to like what happened with the race, which is kind of sad because here in Japan it's really
It's
going
popular.
strong. Yeah, it's very popular and it's going really strong.
And then sometimes I don't understand how some games that just started off like by themselves can really, hit it off. Like, I think I told this in the previous episode. One of the mobile games I'm playing is Epic 7 from Smilegate, Korea, and it's really, really, really popular. Like, both in global Korea and Japan. Like, it's really strong. It has collabs with Guilty Gear even, and it's really strong. And it just is standalone. Like, it's not related in any story. It has its own story, etc. For some reason, it's really popular.
Is it by a big name producer company or not?
Uh, Smilegate?
Yeah, I actually haven't heard of it, or maybe I've just
They
been living
made
under a rock.
uh, they made like games that I'm not sure of. Crossfire, whatever Crossfire is. Yeah, I think they made other mobile games too. Like, yeah, most of these are mobile.
Oh,
Yeah, mobile games.
I see. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that title, but yeah, I think most of the time, like those kind of standalone games that do well here in Japan, like the original games, they usually have they're usually idle games or games with a lot of cute girls.
Yeah.
But so I mean, in a way, like Grand Blue Fantasy is kind of like that too, because it's like I guess 80% women cards and maybe 20% guys. And like the idol games like Love Live, Bang Dream, so those are pretty popular here too. So maybe if Tails makes an idol game, I don't. That would be interesting. That would be amusing to see. Although Bamco already has Idol Master, and all the most they do in that regard is just make collabs with Tails games, and stick the Tails characters into idol outfits. So, but yeah, I don't know. Suddenly, I just thought of it right now, but it would be interesting to see a Tales of Idol game someday. Maybe it might do well overseas, but for now we have Crestoria, and I think it's worth looking forward to. I mean, with the one thing that I really liked about the hype around Crestoria is people being interested in the original characters. Like
Yeah.
like even as early as now, you already have fans of like
Aegis.
yeah, Aegis or Vicious or you know
Yuna.
Yuna. Yeah, basically those three. It's like there's already there's already like people who are ready to like dedicate their wallets or whatever to them. So it's like really, it's been really amusing to see, and I think that also is a nice sign that they did something good with regard to like promoting the game.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing I do see like, but to a lesser extent, is like people being interested in seeing how the existing Tales characters are gonna be integrated into the game, like because it has its own system and it's practically gonna be another alternate universe type of deal for them. Unlike Race, which is like basically the characters from the original games have their personalities intact from whatever character development they underwent. So it's gonna be interesting to see it like alongside Race whenever it drops.
Yeah. I'm looking at the skit faces again. The ones they released for Anime Expo, and
Yeah.
you can really see the difference in the character designers. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but at least it's not as bad as Berseria, I feel, in terms of like how disjoint designs are, but we'll see, I guess.
These are by Wit Studio, right? If I recall.
The anime, I think so.
Yeah, I think usually the one in charge of the skit faces is also the one in charge of the animated stuff. Usually.
Yeah, I think so. It's with Studio, so at least it's nice.
It's pretty.
It's pretty. Do you have any other thoughts on like Crestoria and the characters or what's been announced?
Like, what do you think so far of the very little or few battle scenes we've seen? Like graphics wise and gameplay wise.
Graphic wise, it looks really. I think it looks really pretty.
Yeah.
Although
for mobile.
I mean, yes. I wonder if they just like decided to make it turn based to just maybe simplify like and maybe performance stuff. I don't know. So it wouldn't kill like lower end devices because like one problem with Race right now is if your device isn't on the higher scale of like mobile or whatever, it's gonna run very slow and laggy and it's not fun to play. Like I had to put Race on an iPad just for me to be able to enjoy the game because if I have it on my phone it lags like hell. So
And even like what's Fate Grand Order, it's super slow. Well, on my phone. That's why I quit.
is it I thought like Fate Grand Orders like you just click stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
of
but
course it.
like it's also very graphics heavy, or what's that? Sparkles heavy. FX heavy. There we go. FX heavy.
I
So
see.
every time they have effects, etc., it's super slow, which is what I don't understand with Epic 7, because for some reason, even if it's graphics heavy, the game is super smooth on my 3 years ago phone
I see. I guess it depends also on what engine they
engine.
use. Engine and yeah, like what type of game is it? Is it like if it's on HTML5 or
Ah, that I'm not sure about that.
the sort of, is it like what they call this? Is it like a browser game or not really?
It's Epic 7 is like similar to FGO actually. That's why I
Huh.
picked it up. Like the 2D ish, chibi ish characters with
Oh, I see.
cut-ins. They're very
Yeah.
similar.
I guess it
Although,
depends.
yeah, although Epic 7 has its own engine. Like they made it specifically for the game.
Oh,
I'm not sure if
maybe,
that helps.
maybe that helps. Yeah, because at least they're able to like tailor it to the game and minimize the junk or unneeded stuff that can slow stuff as a whole or whatever.
They never really announced, going back, sorry, I
Yeah.
derailed the thing.
Yeah.
They never really
No.
announced what engine they're using for Crestoria, right?
No, but I think given that the developer is Klab, they're probably
Oh,
using their in-house engine. Un- I'm not sure if they started moving on to other engines, but like as far as I know, Klab has its own engine. So
Caleb.
yeah, Klab basically the one that also did what they call this Love Live.
Oh,
They're the ones who did that, and they also did like previous Tales of games. Like, well, there's one current, Asteria. They're the ones behind Asteria.
oh, they did Utapri.
But yeah, Asteria and the now defunct Tales of Kizna, they also did that.
Ah, they also did that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I see it. Love Live, Bleach.
yeah, they have a lot of games to their name. So
Not
yeah,
bad. So I'm hoping this will run
but
fast.
yeah, it's like it's really pretty though. I mean, what we have of Crestoria, like for a mobile game, it's really good. I mean, it's really good looking. So, do you have any thoughts on like the battle system, like what's been shown this far?
I'm okay with turn based, to be honest. Like I really like the race, but for example, in my lifestyle slash career, sometimes it's really hard to like focus on the game, especially when we have emergencies. So sometimes I do appreciate that being able to leave the game a bit by itself.
Oh yeah, like just leaving stuff on auto and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing at least also with turn-based, it's easier to like implement an auto system, I think. Like I think one thing in race that people have been demanding for is yeah, an auto system so people can just keep repeating quests. I feel they're almost there though, cuz like they were able to automate like the battles themselves. So yeah, I'm just weirded out as to why they haven't implemented the auto repeat part for the actual starting the quest after it ends.
So it still has no any auto option whatsoever.
No, it has. Like
Ah, it has.
it has within like the game. So you start the quest. Within the quest there are auto options. So you can automate the whole battle. But you have to manually like select the quest, let's say once it's complete. So
Yeah.
yeah. Unlike Asteria, you can leave your phone on overnight and just keep running quests. So yeah. So do you have any final thoughts on
On Crestoria,
yeah, on Crestoria?
I just need a release date.
Yeah.
2019 is ending.
Same. Is it gonna be released on December 2000? 2000. uh,
It's 2019
20.
is ending, and we
Yeah.
still have no
19, yeah.
release date.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a case of dev hell. Like, I mean, just my suspicions. Like, because usually, if they were a lot more ready, they would have announced a release date by now. But yeah, I just hope that they survive crunch time.
I just hope they're not rushing into this.
Hmm?
I just hope like they're not rushing into this.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they aren't, because at least usually when you announce a game, you already have a good portion of it developed. So yeah, I'm just hoping that's the case when they announce Crestoria. So yeah. Okay. On my end, yeah, it's just more or less the same thing. Like, release date when? Just give us a release date. Because yeah, I'm really hyped and very excited to see where they go with the with the characters and the system they're proposing, where there's more focus on the original characters. Because one thing that Race, I feel, kind of didn't do well so much is the way they handle their OCs. Because lately it's, I mean, depending on how you see it, it's like there's been more focus on the existing Tales characters. I
Oh,
mean, so it's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're like a fan of those characters. But like, the race has those original characters, and they're actually very interesting too. But they've been taking a lot of sideline, despite the fact that it's their story. So I do hope that they go back to focusing on them sometime, because it's a waste of a good cast.
yeah.
But yeah, okay. So I guess that's all she wrote for this episode. Do you have any plugs to make, Abby?
Um, plugs. So we're first of all, I apologize if we didn't manage to record last month. Things have been really busy for both Slip and I, to the point that we couldn't match our schedules at
Yeah.
all. But hopefully, starting this year, we can go back to the regular scheduling. So again, promoting our Patreon. Um, so every month, where are our tiers? So every month we have the AC radio that's running for Patreon users can have access to it a week before we actually release it on YouTube to the public. So that's for our order release and up. You also have the chance to give your answers to our monthly AC weigh-in column. And if you're in the Premium Spriter tier, what is that? Yeah, tier. We have an AC Patreon quarterly giveaway. The next one will actually be September 1st. Last quarter, we had someone who won the Yuri Lowell Nendoroid. And then, if you're a console writer, you can actually submit your own pieces to AC for publishing, as long as it meets the website standards and guidelines.
How about any personal promotions on your end?
Not really. Oh, I forgot. On my end, not really. I forgot to mention. This is actually what I was going to discuss with you. I'm planning to. So since I have more free time now, I'm actually going to return. Oh wait. First off, we have the Tales of Arise page up, although there's not really much info up right now, but it's up to date with all the info on the game. And then next on that, I'm gonna finish the Crestoria page for everyone. And then I'm also returning in the next couple of days. We used to have a Tales merchandise monthly column where we focus
Oh.
on the merchandise that's to be released the next 2 months and those that were just released, plus a short snippet or focus on other Tales merchandise. So we'll be returning that monthly for people who are just after merchandise.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
On my end, I don't really have any much stuff to plug. Yeah, I'm on Twitter and Tumblr, even though it's dying, but at the usual URL. But yeah. Okay, guys. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening, and Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.